Just landed my first white-collar job. Any advice? So I just landed a job in design drafting. I start 4/3. I'm 35 and decided to go back to school during the pandemic. I've been a blue-collar worker my entire life but kind of got tired of it and wanted a change of pace. And I'm pretty nervous about it. When I went to my interview I was honestly smitten by how nice everyone was to me when I was given a tour of the office, and I'm actually super excited about the opportunities I'm about to be awarded and the fact that I won't have to be on my feet all day anymore. Not to mention, I'm gonna love doing CAD/design work all day. The thing is, half of my current co-workers are telling me how much I'm going to love it and the other half are saying the opposite. I'm kind of chalking up the one saying the opposite as the common hatred that blue-collar workers have for white-collar workers. But I'm not sure. Any suggestions or tips on moving into a different work environment?
So, what I'd say is that do your best to learn the corporate culture and the work norms in your new environment. Because it's just going to be different. The way that people talk to one another is different. The way that drama occurs is different. It's a little bit more silent. The way that people are maneuvering for their careers, it might be a little bit more strategic. People are just generally more strategic in general about that kind of thing. I don't know. It's kind of like a game that people play in the white collar workforce, but it's just going to be a little bit different. And I feel like that your blue collar background might actually be more of a breath of fresh air to people in that environment. So within reason, be yourself. But so some things that will come out of this. I don't you Having worked physical jobs and having worked like blue collar jobs and having worked a white collar job, whenever I would leave work from my blue collar job, I'd go home and I'd be physically exhausted, but I want to spend time talking to friends, and I'd be able to have a lot of really good social interactions with people. But now I'm still pretty social, but it's a little bit harder, right? I'm mentally more spent at the end of days. While I might not be physically spent, I am definitely more mentally spent at the end of the day. And when I worked my blue collar job, I mean, I clocked in, I clocked out. I was done. I was in, out, done. No more work. White collar, I mean, again, I try to have really good work life balance, and I feel like I have decent work life balance for somebody working in the role that I work in. But I mean, the work just follows you home a little bit more. So, doing your best to understand what those boundaries are like for you, and making sure that you're setting boundaries is a really good thing to do whenever you're transitioning into the white collar workforce. And when people try to push those boundaries, try your best to resist and kind of push back on that kind of thing, so you can kind of maintain that semblance of balance in your career. So let's see what everybody else said. The thing that shocked me from going from minimum wage jobs, service jobs to white collar was the unspoken norms and like social things. When I worked at Target or a hair salon, if somebody did something dumb, we just called it out, had a quick argument, and then moved on. Most white collar places I've worked at, you have to be more, I don't know, passive, forgiving, and very tactful. This is the game that I was talking about. When I first made the switch, I was super blunt and loud, but because that's what I was used to. White collar workers don't like that. Um, there's like a code switch, is what people say. So on the hiring side, I've seen people have a really hard time grasping that management and employees are part of a team for the most part. I've seen people who obviously rehearse telling off their manager in a way that works in a blue collar world, gets people quiet fired in the white collar world. I've also seen people who seem to think that managers who delegate tasks to them are just being lazy. The reason employees are hired is because the manager's job is complicated enough to justify a team. That's why don't you just do it attitude is pervasive among people who are making this transition. I will say that if you can do this, it's hard, it will serve you well. And if you have children, their opportunities in the white collar world will increase dramatically. Yeah. So I think that I think that again, generally your bluntness, I think, will be received as a breath of fresh air. But there is that level of tactness that comes along with working in white collar. And again, I work in construction, right? So I work with people that are blue collar background all the time, and that intermeshing and the intermingling of white collar, blue collar, it's why you can't in my company you can't advance anywhere without working in the field and working with the blue collar people. And it's honestly working out in the field has been a really blessing for me and a breath of fresh air. It's been really good, and we get a lot of stuff done, and I can value and appreciate those people's backgrounds. Other people maybe struggle with it more than I have, and you're gonna have to realize that you kind of have to read the room with the people that you're interacting with and kind of see how what kind of person they are and what kind of interactions they prefer. But it's like again, it is a game. Main advice would be to have a lot of tact. Office politics are the worst part of office jobs. Just try to keep yourself out of drama. Keep yourself out of drama. So yeah, uh, seriously, I mean, the fact that you're excited about it, you're gonna do great. Congratulations to you. I hope that is a wonderful transition for you. And doing drafting work is it's a really cool job. You get to apply things that maybe you learned out in the field, and collaborate with the engineers. You're going to have a lot of engineers. You're going to you have the opportunity to be very collaborative. So maintain those relationships that use that tact, and I think you're going to find it to be a really good growth opportunity for yourself, and also provide opportunities for significant increased earning potential for you as well. So congratulations. I think you're going to enjoy it. I wish you the best of luck.
Because I ain't chasing payments, still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station.